If you were wondering, yes, I am a gamer. I figured I would wear the headdress, the traditional headdress of the gamer for this video, just to highlight the fact and emphasize the fact that I am a gamer. If you're not a gamer, you don't get to wear this headband. You don't get to wear any headbands. We patented those. Thank you, Ninja. I've been struggling all day. Look, I stayed up way too late last night, barely drank any water over the weekend, and I've been feeling like garbage, like crapola all day. And I thought to myself, what do I do when I don't really do anything all day? You're right, I play video games. The one in particular I really want to talk about right now is Hotline Miami. If you've ever wanted to commit heinous acts of violence, all in the realm of like 8-bit, with the best soundtrack a video game has ever had, Hotline Miami is the video game for you. It is ultra violent, it's surreal, it's gross, it's disgusting, it's really sad. There's a lot of times in this that it gets really, really sad. Let's just start off the video with the beginning of the first game. You play as an unnamed guy. Fans have dubbed him Jacket because of the Letterman jacket that he wears. You get a phone call one day as the protagonist, and it's like, hey, you need to deliver cookies or whatever to this address. You roll up to the address and you kill everyone inside. Turns out everyone you're killing is in like a Russian mafia thing. By the way, this takes place in the 80s in Miami. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, I think we lost the Cold War. Tensions are still super high between the US and Russia. The Russian mafia is moving in a lot, trying to take over large portions of the United States. And for some reason, you were getting these cryptic phone calls and answering machine messages telling you to go into these hideouts, these drug dens, places of all these Russian gangsters live, and kill all of them. And you do. And you are really good at it. You are so good at it that you just keep getting calls to go and kill all of these unnamed Russian mobsters. The entire time, though, that I was playing it for the first time, I kind of felt sad the whole time. I was having fun, a lot of fun, but deep down I was like, there's something wrong, behind the scenes. And every once in a while, between a couple of missions, you'll go into this like fly-infested room, you'll walk into it, and there will be 3 people sitting on different couches or chairs in the room. One is a woman wearing a horse mask. The other appears to be you in the chicken mask with the Letterman jacket and the jeans. And then there's another one wearing an owl's mask, and he's in the suit that all of the Russian gangsters have been in pretty much so far that you've been killing. The horse lady seems to be chill. She's more or less just concerned with your well-being throughout the entirety of the game. The guy in the middle, Jacket, is trying to steer you towards what is actually going on and who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. He's asking you questions like the very famous, do you like hurting other people? Love that. Gosh, I love it. And then the other guy does not like you. The owl guy hates you. Absolutely detests you. As you continue to progress throughout the game, suddenly you realize you've been in a coma. All of those memories may not have happened, but you find out what put you in the coma is another person that was hired by this organization to go and murder a bunch of Russians, essentially. His name's Biker. You meet up with him, and when you play it as Jacket, you win. You club him to death. When you later go back and play that as Biker, because there is another mission that you play as Biker throughout that entire thing, kind of gives you some backstories to why he showed up in the same building that you did, because you guys had never met before. When you play it as Biker, you beat Jacket. You win. You stab him. So that sends Jacket into a coma. He doesn't really remember everything correctly. That's why I like this game, is because it's confusing. It doesn't really give you very many answers. And it jumps all over the place. When you start to play as Biker, you realize that the organization that's behind all of this is called 50 Blessings, and they're an ultranationalist American terrorist organization, essentially, that's trying to take America back from all these Russian mobs and gangsters and just Russians in general. So they're going around and killing everyone. By the end of the game, you kill off all the mafia leaders, and then you get caught by the cops. Allegedly. I mean, you don't get caught by the cops in that game, like in the gameplay. That happens afterwards, but that's a story for the second game. And that's when you can go back and play as biker and figure out that 50 Blessings is behind all of it. Yada yada yada. I've already told you this. Let's move on to the second game. Hotline Miami 2. A lot of fun because you don't really play as Jacket anymore. You play as 3 separate individuals. One's a group, but we'll get into that. The first one is Manny Pardo. He's a detective and he's very grisly when it comes to solving cases, and he wants to know who this group 50 Blessings in because it's become like a thing. Like the 50 Blessings are like real, like they're out there. So he wants to figure out why they're killing all these Russians, who's behind it all, and he wants to stop it. Then you play as a guy who wears a rat mask traditionally, and his name is Richter. Richter got recruited into 50 Blessings, honestly because of his sick mom. He wanted to be able to pay the bills and keep her safe because they do threaten her throughout the game. He wants to keep her safe and wants to keep her alive. His end goal is to move to Hawaii with his mom because that's where she's always wanted to live. She's sick, she's frail, and he wants her to live the remaining of her years in Hawaii, where she always wanted to live. Sweet guy, still a brutal serial killer, but we'll get into it. And then you play as the fans. The fans are my favorite group of people because they're the fans of Jacket. The tiger's important. Remember him. You do get to play as other characters as well. You get to play as the Miami Mutilator, which is on a TV show. You also play as Jake, who wears a cobra mask. It's whatever. He's forgettable, to say the least. You play as one of the bosses, so one of a different mafia boss. He had a son. That son is just known as the Son. His main bodyguard henchman, you play as him for a little bit, or at least you follow him around and the son around for a little bit, and he's important. We'll come back to him. Essentially, the story for this is that the fans want to go and kill a bunch of Russian mobsters. Manny wants to stop everything from happening. So the Miami Mutilator, the Pig Butcher, whatever you want to call him, is it's a re-envisioning of what Jacket did. It's wrong, of course, we know that, but re-envisioning of what Jacket did, and on set, he's shot and killed by a co-star on accident because they accidentally put live ammunition instead of blanks into the gun. Now we're getting into the henchmen and the fans, because this is one of the saddest moments in all of Hotline Miami. Throughout the entirety of the game, you get to know the henchmen. You get to know the Son a little bit. The Son's just kind of a jerk, egomaniac, drug addict, power hungry. But the henchman is kind of a family man. He's only in this for the money, and he needs out. He wants out. His wife's on the rocks with him. There's a lot of pain behind the scenes for this guy. All he wants to do is get a bag, secure the bag, leave. That's all he wants to do. In a dream sequence, he envisions himself driving away with his wife in a convertible. They've got these stacks of cash in the back of it. And suddenly, like lightning strikes, and he looks over, and it's no longer his wife, it's Jacket. Not really, it's just Richard. Don't worry about it. It's a dream. It's the guy. It is Jacket. He's known as Richard in this game, but he's like a surreal, like haunting in the character's brains this game instead of just in Jacket's brain. He's in everyone's brain. As he's trying to leave Miami, Jacket starts asking him questions. Rather, Richard starts asking him questions about, why is he doing what he's doing? Who is he? All this other stuff. A lot like what he did with Jacket in the first game, but it's coded in depressing undertones. The music is not upbeat and club almost, and it's not like, I just want to like do a couple lines and then bash someone's skull in kind of music. It's a little bit more sad, it's a little bit more moody. So there's like a foreboding that is always around Jacket in this game, Richard rather. Like the next day, the henchman's last job is coming up. He's going to a home or whatever to secure, I guess, a new batch of drugs. While he's there, the fans come and they kill him. They beat him to death. And that's what gets the fans into a lot of heat with the Russian mafia, and eventually will lead to them killing a bunch of Russian mafia people and all the rest of it. Once they get a taste of Russian mafia blood, they don't want to stop. Eventually they find the headquarters for the Russian mob, and you get to play this level twice. The first time you play it as the fans. They all take separate floors of this building, and you play every single one of the floors. Something goes wrong. Over the radios, they're like, hey, something's wrong, blah, 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 blah. They're not really sure, it's not clear. You get to play as the Son, and he takes one too many pills and loses his mind. and then goes on a killing spree. Not just of the fans, but he kills all of his henchmen. He's murdering everyone. He's high off his rocker and he can't tell what's fact and what's fiction. Kills all of the fans except for the tiger, old Tony the Tiger. He goes up to the roof and he sees a golden pathway in front of him. And he believes if he crosses this pathway, he'll achieve nirvana. Well, fun fact, he just jumped off the side of his building and now he's dead on the sidewalk underneath. It's not happy. This game's not happy. Then you meet up with Manny Pardo, who you have been playing in side missions throughout the game, where he has been just as brutal as the fans in his jacket when it comes to solving cases. And he rolls up, the cops are all there, right, because there's been a massive shooting, everyone's dead and there's someone dead outside in the pavement. Rolls up and inside of a janitor's closet, Tony is holed up inside of there. And he's asking like, hey, I don't have any guns or anything on me, come in, arrest me, we'll be fine, whatever. Just take me away, I don't want to do this anymore. And Manny walks in, says that Tony pulls a gun, and shoots Tony. So Tony's dead now. Afterwards, you follow up with Richter. He does a couple more missions. He's able to move to Hawaii and be with his mom. As they're sitting on the couch, he looks over at his mom. She turns into Richard rather, and asks him some depressing questions. And everyone you have followed dies. All of it was for nothing. All of it was for nothing. It's very sad. It's very sad. Sad. If you are someone that gets easily upset by blood and gore and violence and excessive violence, even though it looks like this, it's still very graphic. It's still very violent. Or if you're someone that just gets sad easily, maybe don't play this game because it's sad. It also makes you feel gross. You know? I don't know. I've played all of the Call of Duties. I have played a bunch of other games that make you do some really gross stuff. And it's like, I didn't feel like I needed to take a shower after playing this game. And that's not a slight against this game. I love these two games. But if the atmosphere, the music, the colors, the violence, if all of that speaks to you, I would highly recommend you play this game. This is a couple years old now, by the way. I think it's almost a decade old, I think, the first one at this point. I could rant and rave about this game for days. There is so much about it that I did not cover. I purposely have left out a lot of what happens. I gave you the major bits, gave you the major plot points, but I left a lot out. It's one of those games that once you get it done, it kind of sticks around with you. It plays around in your brain. It kind of bounces around in there for a little bit. And I haven't been able to get it off my brain since I first picked it up in 2016, I believe. Seriously, I cannot recommend this game highly enough. It's difficult, it's fun, it's gross, it's violent, and it's wonderful. I love it. So I do want to thank you guys very much so for watching. If you have any questions about it, ask me down below in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe. That'd be fantastic. And make sure you always take the stairs. Keep that thing on you. If you get tired, please pull over, give me a call, have a nap, do some push-ups, grab a hotel if you need to, whatever it's going to take for you to arrive at your destination safely, as opposed to just not arrive at all. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. We'll see you guys in the next one.